why the SEC and the Tennessee Republican Party should strip the Republican designations of Representatives Michele Carringer, Rick Eldridge, Mary Littleton, Iris Rudder, and Dave Wright because they are betraying rhinos. Tennessee state sovereignty bill dies in Senate committee again. No Pride Month Act is killed by Republicans. We'll tell you who. House and Senate Republican committees passed the Tennessee Anti-Grooming Act, Tennessee legislation allowing all county residents to challenge library books is making headway, and House passes bill to increase civil liabilities for abortion pill distributors. This is good. And a bill expanding parental rights in children's health care to receive a House vote. This is Brandon Lewis here. You're tuning into the 10 Con Big 7, the only place that you can discover if your Republican representatives are actually representing you in the Tennessee legislature. And boy, this week they didn't. If you want to get on our e-newsletter so that you can be the most informed person in your circle of influence as it comes to state Republican politics, you can text the word news, N-E-W-S, to 423-205-5600. That's 423-205-5600. Just text the word news. You know, it always struck me at the beginning of Charlie Kirk's podcast how he would simply say that if you appreciate what we do, uh, go to uh, what I can't remember the name of it. It's not American Majority. I've worked with too many conservative organizations over the time. Turning Point. That you should go to turningpointusa.com/support and give. Well, I'm here to tell you if you appreciate what we do, and so many conservatives sit on their wallet and then wonder why things don't change, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support because the conservative movement needs grassroots funding, not the corporate funding that makes many of the Republicans in the legislature vote the way they do, as they are tied to special interest. You can also mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. Now let's get into this. So, just to back up, and I covered this on Yaffe, a bill that required closing the Republican primaries to Democrats was in front of Republicans again. This has been a 20-year fight. And Republicans that have weak voting records and know that they are easily challenged in primaries absolutely positively need Democrats crossing over so that they can win. It's the reason they keep killing this bill. It's the reason they keep voting for it. Now, it's not just something that's a 90+% issue with Republican primary voters that these people are thumbing their nose at. Scott Golden has gone down on bended knee in front of these committees asking them to close the primaries, and they have refused. The SEC has sent them letters over and over again asking them to close the primaries, and they have refused. So this is a closed circuit transmission. And if you're on the state executive committee, I would love for you to share this video with any members that you can share it with. The representatives Michele Carringer, Rick Eldridge, Mary Littleton, Iris Rudder, and Dave Wright should have their Republican designations stripped so they can run as Democrats or independents. And I'll tell you why. If you can't do what your party asks you to do, if you can't do what Republican primary voters want you to do, you should just run as a Democrat. You vote with the Democrats. Why not run as a Democrat? This is ridiculous. Recently, we just booted all kinds of people off the ballot as Republicans because they didn't vote in 3 of the last 4 primaries. And I'm all for it. The rules should apply equally to everyone. But what happens to these Republicans that are in the legislature, SEC members, and we've got elections coming up. Hopefully, we can replace some folks that push for Democrats voting in Republican primaries. Namely, a good one to get rid of would be David Queen in my area, who argued with me vehemently that Democrats need to be voting in our primaries to my face. You have these people in the party that are completely out of alignment with their constituencies. If we will kick people off the ballot for not just pulling the lever for a Republican candidate, shouldn't we kick Republicans off the ballot who vote for Democrats voting in Republican primaries? If they've got bad votes, shouldn't bad votes count as much as no votes in state elections? I think it should. So, guys, if you have Representative Michele Carringer, Rick Eldridge, Mary Littleton, Iris Rudder, or Dave Wright in your area, It's probably too late for primary challengers this year, but these people have terrible records. And if you just take their terrible voting records to the door, to the mailbox, to social media, to the phones, to the text, and you tell people about these folks' terrible voting records, you can get rid of them. And SEC members should at least send them a message that says, we got a new policy. And that is, if you cannot vote with your constituents, you can run as an independent or a Democrat. And those are my opinions on it. These people make me sick. Next story, Tennessee state sovereignty bill dies in Senate committee again. These are all the rhino Republicans killing these bills that think that if the federal government says that you're unessential, that we need to shut you down during COVID, that you need to transition your kids, whatever could come down from a liberal federal administration. Our state presently has zero methodology for resisting that federal overreach. But some people think it's great. Todd Gardenhire, good. Federal overreach is good. Tom Hatcher, great. Ed Jackson, great. Richard Briggs, terrible, terrible candidate. One of the worst Republicans in the state of Tennessee. Fighting Janice Bowling, who is the most conservative, I would have to say, bar none, most conservative senator that we have up there. This is what our party is made of. Next story. Here's another good one. There's a simple bill called the No Flag Month Act, which basically says that the state can't be recognizing Gay Pride Month, that it can't be displaying gay pride flags. But, you had Todd Gardenhire, Ed Jackson, and Hatcher decided not to vote, which is the same as voting for it because they know that the Democrats will vote with it. It's the same when you don't vote, it's the same as voting with the Democrats. And it's terrible that we have these cowards up in Nashville that simply will not stand up for the kids in this already failing and broken education system that has academic standards that are worse than back in the 1800s, and they call it progress. Next story, House and Senate committee passes the Tennessee Anti-Grooming Act. It's amazing this could even make it through. Sponsored by Janice Bowling again and Jody Barrett. Puts a lot of real enforcement mechanisms into grooming children. A Class E felony offense for an adult who engages in this activity. If you are in an authority position, a supervisor, a teacher, etc., it's a Class D felony. If you had a prior conviction, it's a Class C felony. And it's a Class B felony if the individual is mentally compromised, and a Class A felony if they are 13 or under. Hopefully this will put some teeth and give some people pause if they think about doing this stuff. Next story, Tennessee legislation allowing all county residents to challenge library books, primarily in the same vein of all this stuff that Republicans just voted for the LGBTQRS LMNOP agenda to be in our schools. So now you can challenge them, even if you're not a parent. Anyone inside the county, which makes sense since taxpayer dollars go to the libraries, can challenge this. Guys, we burn through our budget when we are reporting on the legislature, and if we didn't bring these stories to the handful of folks in Tennessee who care and keep up, nobody would ever know. There would be no record of it. And until we existed, organizations like us and Tennessee Stands, basically these rhinos were able to cast these votes in silence and in secret, but no longer. And it's because we are supporter driven, not corporately driven, not advertiser driven, but our support has always been rather weak, which in my opinion says a lot about what we can expect out of the conservative movement. If people don't put their time and money into these things, they just can't continue. So please do go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support or mail your checks to P.O. Box 625 Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. If you get $50 or more, we'll send you a proud Tennessee conservative tumbler, a koozie, bumper stickers, a directory of your elected officials, and the heartfelt thanks of conservatives everywhere that keep up. Next story, House bill passes increasing civil liabilities for people who mail abortion pills into Tennessee. The amended version of this by Gino Bulso adds to the state's wrongful death statutes, creating a cause of action, essentially saying that if you're a family member who is eligible, you can bring a wrongful death suit and be awarded up to $1 million. The idea is that semi-legitimate abortion pill distributors will look at Tennessee and go, you know what? I don't think it's worth playing there. There's too much risk. So this is a good bill. However, people that are going to do something as heinous as murder a baby in the womb don't have a lot of scruples. And so this deterrent for many pills that come in from outside of the country and from shady actors could still get in. But you know what? In many cases in government, the goal is to make things a little bit better. Or, as I always often say, that our job at the Tennessee Conservatives is to make Republicans in Tennessee suck a little less. And that's my goal. I thought we could shoot for excellence with the people that we have up there, but the longer I do this, the more I'm like, if we can just make them suck less, boy, we have done something. Final story, bill expanding parental rights in children's health care to receive a House vote. Michele Renault has brought this, and it would ensure that a parent, legal guardian, or custodian can have access to all their child's health and treatment records for mental health, medical treatments, rehabilitation, prescription records, etc. I think it's important for parents to know what's going on in their children's health care. This is probably more of an issue in families that aren't as secure and strong as the ones that are high functioning. But unfortunately, that is a representation of a lot of kids that get led astray in these schools, led astray in other areas, and their parents don't know about it. And so it went 11-7 in favor of the bill. Now, Ron Travis, Mark White, voted no. They think that parents shouldn't have access to their parents' medical records. You take that up with Ron Travis and Mark White, both who have pretty rough voting records. John Gillespie and Brian Terry marked themselves as absent, not voting, which is the same thing as voting with the Democrats. So you've got people that, I kid you not, they don't think that you should be in control of your kids' health care. They're Republicans. They don't think you should be in control of your kids' education. It's the government. It's the government and the medical experts. So that's what's going on in the state legislature this week. Some things positive, but as often is the case on big issues like nullification, closing the primaries, whenever there's a big issue where Republicans might catch a little bit of flack from Democrats, government employees, or the corporate overlords that fund their campaigns, boy, they fold. They fold like a cheap suit. What's going on this weekend, guys? Well, I'm going to go work out today, try to find some tennis shoes. I have worn mine out. I work out quite a bit, and my wife and I try to get in 10,000 steps a day when we're not going to the gym. And so the soles are getting bare. I think my soul's getting bare running this publication, to be honest. And um, we got a date night tonight. We kind of got shuffled around in the calendar. Our oldest is going to a little school dance, and a bunch of girls are coming over here to get ready for it. And then Saturday, what we got going on Saturday? We're celebrating my oldest's birthday. It was earlier this week, but we're having a little shindig here. And then Sunday, I don't know what Sunday holds. I haven't even thought that far into the future yet. But I did make a lot of progress around the house with various chores over the last couple of weeks, so that makes me feel good. So, guys, that's what's going on this weekend at Casa de Lewis. Very exciting, earth shattering, jet setting stuff. As you well know, we live the lifestyles of the rich and infamous over here in Fairmount on top of Signal Mountain. Guys, please do help us if you can. TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. Keep an eye on the legislature. And if you feel so led to run against some of these people in the primaries next year, just do it. Just do it. It doesn't take a whole lot to unseat some of these guys, and they need it. It's Brandon Lewis here with the 10Con Big 7, the only place in the state of Tennessee that you can get news for conservatives, funded by conservatives, that will not shirk from telling the truth. And we can only do it because of you. Thank you for being with us for 5+ years, coming up on 6 in October. And it's all because of you. I appreciate you. Share this news source with anybody that seems a little clueless about what's going on in their state and local government. And maybe we can shed a little bit more light in the volunteer state. Until next time, it's old BL signing off.